Welcome to the Woo and the Do podcast. You are in for a treat today. Today, we are talking about masculine and feminine money, and I am inviting one of my former clients. Her name is Samantha Belle, and we are having so much fun. Let me tell you a little bit about Samantha. Samantha is an actor, singer, speaker. She's a healer, and she specializes in subconscious reprogramming patterns and habits of success. She does amazing timeline work, Reiki, like all of those things to help her clients navigate multi passionate success. And we talked about what it looks like, you know, what do you do, right? When your business doesn't feel like it's working. And then I talk about my experience going from bankruptcy to what I've created. I talk about masculine money and how I discovered what that was, and then feminine money, the magic money. And we're going to go all into that. So sit back, enjoy. Definitely remember to rate this podcast at 5 stars. That helps me get out to even more people, and leave a really amazing review. If you want me to talk about a specific topic, send an email to wooandthedo@anahob.com. Include your name, your email, and your Instagram handle so that I can tag you on the shout out. And if you want to learn more about me, the work that I do, jump on the frequency shift email list. I email every single day all of these amazing tips, tricks, things that are going to help you blow up your business and have the most amazing life as the total woman. And I look forward to seeing you on the next podcast.
Hello. Oh my goodness. Navigating Multi-Passionate Success Facebook group that we are chilling in. I am so pumped that you guys are here to watch this. You asked for a wealth expert, and I just knew the very first person I reached out to was Miss Christine Michelle. She is and has been my coach for the last year. We've been working together. I was now here. You want to know where I get all of my tips and marketing things on lurkers? That's because I was following this queen for at least a year before I did anything with her the first time. And I like did and so I don't know if you remember this, Christine. You did a free 3 day like group thing back in, it had to have been 22 because I've been with you for a year. So you did it way, it feels like way far long ago. And I had been following you still for like a year before that. And I remember because, right, being in this space, I know what it's like when we feel like nobody's listening and hearing. And so I emailed you during that time where I would respond to something and be like, hey, just so you know, like, I'm not doing anything with you yet, but I'm here. I'm here and I hear you and I see you and like I'm vibing. And because I knew I wanted to in the first place. So anyway, that's where I get all of my tips and tricks, you guys, is because I was like, what happened? I do this all the time. Anyway, so I finally did that 3 day with you, and then took another break until your birthday bonus or birthday promo, which was where I came in, and then here we are. And so much has happened, and it's been so great. So anyway, you've run and through our coaching, through just seeing what you have in your emails. Yeah. So if any, I'm just going to plug right now, her emails, even if you just lurk a year or so, her emails are fire. So anyway, if anyone wants to hop on that email list that I lived on for a couple of years, you just let me know. Comment, I want emails below. No, but really, it's a really awesome thing to be able to grow from something as much as an email to working with you to hearing the people that you brought into to your space for us. And so you were the wealth queen that I was like, okay, here we go. We've got to get Christine in here. And so that's my little intro. That's who you are to me. I would love for you to do a little who, you're fancy because she's also really, really awesome
Oh,
in all of her clout. That's just my like heart connection and why she's here in this group via me right now. But That's that. I'd love to hear you for a second.
Oh my God. Well, first, thank you so much. I remember, I feel like it was even before 22. Like, I feel like it was like 2021 or so. It was like a ways away. And I always remember because I was like, this is this epic, like, woman, showstopper, light force woman who actress. I was like, this is exactly what I wanted because I had started journaling about I wanted to work with people across all industries. And I said, I want an actress, I want a singer, dancer, like I want all this. And then I get an email. I've been watching you. And I was like, so you manifested me and I manifested you. So I love that so much.
That's
But
so
let me
great.
tell navigating multi-passionate success a little bit about me. I'm Christine Michelle, and I am the CEO of The Aligned Soul by Anahab International Personal Development Brand, and I'm the author of the best-selling book, The Aligned Receiver. Now, before I became known as the vibration lifter and the energy shifter, I was a corporate executive for 20 plus years. I know I look fresh faced and fancy free, but next week on the 21st, I'll be 48 years old for my birthday. And I'm
I
so
still
excited.
don't believe you.
I know it just seems like, no, I was, but I love what I do. And as a corporate executive, I worked for Deloitte and Touche as a consultant. I was also with the Coca-Cola company for a long period of time. And I managed two nine-figure beauty brands for Victoria's Secret back when they had the angels and they were sexy and fun. When I left, they went left. They went left. They started to do some things that weren't exactly in alignment with where I was back then. But they're trying to bring the sexy back. Anyway, I live in downtown St. Petersburg since I've since left New York City, but I love what I do. I am the woo do princess. So I love to mix the woo, which is spiritual and like energetics and all of that with actual strategy and actual doing. Sam knows. I'm like, dude, move. You got this. Like, go. Let's go. Let's uncover what's there. I say that to her all the time. And so, what I love to also do is make what's complicated uncomplicated. Like, I'd like to make the topics that usually aren't easy to understand very easy for you to understand. And I help the quantum queens and kings that are in my email list. I help them rise, build empires, and really step into their wholeness, remembering who the f you think they are. And so today we're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about magic money. We're going to talk about my story of really coming from bankruptcy to create a multi six-figure brand. So I know that you've had some struggles or you've had some things that you desire to happen with money, or maybe business is slower than you wished. And I don't want you to give up. Like, I want you to know that I came from the brink of bankruptcy. And this is from having a huge, amazing career, a career where I had a multi six-figure career, a career where I was like so successful at everything that I did. I came into this online world. My clients were like having $100,000 days and all this kind of stuff they were doing. And here I was filing for bankruptcy and driving Uber and delivering Postmates. So don't give up. Like, we're going to have this money conversation. I'm going to tell you how I shifted and changed and was able to redirect into this wealth and magic money frequency that I'm talking about. But if you are in a space where you're like not making as much as you would like, or if you're making great money, but you want to double and triple it, this is the live stream that you get to watch today.
Yes, this is the song and dance, everyone, except not like in a usually that's kind of currently. This isn't the song and dance to distract you. This is the song and dance of like the Broadway superstar when you're on the cruise and everyone goes to the shows because they are fire. That's what this is.
Okay, so what I also would like, and Sam will give me some little points about where you are and what you're doing. But if you're watching the replay or if you're coming in live, I would love to see in the comments like what you do, right? And then what are some of the challenges, questions that you have about money. I did read the post that was in there, and let me see some of those. I know a lot of you wanted to know how to manifest more money. I know you wanted to know about how to keep, more money, right? If it seems like it's slipping out of your fingers, right? What do you do? And then I also know that you wanted to learn more besides mindset. Like you wanted to know what to do to increase your wealth. So if there's anything else that is coming up, I can ask Sam, was there anything else that came up that we can talk about too? And I'll infuse that in my discussion of masculine money, feminine magic money, and wealth.
Totally. So Alex asked how to earn more profit and work less, which is kind of a mixture of those other top three. And then I just know from talking with people that are in my group, which is why I think even though we are a pretty mighty group because everyone here, 99.9% of everyone here, I have a personal working and or personal relationship with. So I know their story and what it is that they're working on, which is awesome because then I can tailor as I bring in these experts to like what people are really feeling. So we have both a mixture of creatives being actors as well and like film people as well as online entrepreneurs very specifically in all kinds of niches as well as we've got 9 to 5ers who know me from in my personal life and are like oh I've always had this kind of drive to more and abundance sounds great and like wealth sounds great but like so many money stories and things there for them but ultimately yeah the bridge of the woo and the do which is where I got that from you. My favorite thing is I think what people are looking at today, I met with someone who it's just there's also the reality of scarcity versus and included with the mindset of scarcity because there is just like not actually being able to or having the money to do XYZ. And then there's the idea behind how that is limiting you in both energetically. So wanted to bring that up, but that's where I'm at and what I've heard from my people. Take it
I
away.
love that. And I that's why I brought up the fact about the bankruptcy. So you don't think like this is this coach girl who's coming in, has no clue what I'm feeling, and she's on fire in her business. Screw you. Like I don't I don't want you to feel that. I want you to know that I came from like the bottom of the bottom. Like I went from on the high of multiple 6-figure career all the way down to like zero and like driving Uber and delivering Postmates. So I want you to know that I understand what it means when you're in the fire. I've even had like a $60,000 month and then crashed also and was like, oh my God, like, and I'll talk about that story too, because there's two different sides, but it's the same thing. And it's when you can decide that you're going to start telling a different story and looking at things in a different way that you will expand in just a beautiful way. And money is here to support you. It's here to expand to support your desires. So I love the woo and the do. And the first thing I start when it comes to money, is I start with the do part. I start with the practical part. I start with the masculine part. And the reason is it's because oftentimes when we're scared, and I mean, if there were some ones in the comments, tell me if this is true, you do not want to look at your money because you're scared. You're like, oh my God, I don't want to see it. You try to avoid it. You're like, huh? And you don't know your numbers. Like you don't want to see, like I've had people on the one end to the other end, like they're making great money, but they still don't look at the numbers because maybe it's not as good as they think, right? Or they don't not making enough money, or and they're scared to look at it because they're scared that they're going to be sad or angry or upset with themselves. And both need to look at your money. Like you need to know your numbers. You need to know like what are you generating? How much money is coming in? Where is it coming in from? Like how much is going out? And the more you can just be so intimate with your numbers, then you will start to be able to build a really good, loving relationship with money. So I love to talk about money with masculine and feminine. And so all my boys in this group, it's okay. You have a masculine and feminine side too. So I want you to love your money boyfriend because I like to see money as masculine energy that loves to expand to support you, like loves to expand to like be the resource and like say, okay, what do you desire? I got it. I got you, girl. And or got you guy, got you person, like I got you. And so money, when you are in a relationship, I'm going to use a relationship example. You want to, when you feel supported and you feel safe, you feel like you can fly. In a place where you feel safe with money is when not only do you know your numbers, but it looks really good when you know that your needs are taken care of. That's why, especially if you're in an online business, focusing on growing your monthly recurring revenue, your MRR, is the most important thing. Why? Because I love to, when someone comes into my world, I'm like, what are your expenses? Okay, what is like, if you look at everything, adding tax in there too, like, what would that look like for you to, like, what number, what's the exact number that you need to feel like you are taken care of and all your needs are met, met, met? And if you don't look at your numbers, you don't get to know your numbers, you will have no idea that you are probably actually taken care of and in overflow, or that there's a little bit of work that you get to do. But like, imagine how it would feel waking up every month on the first of the month, knowing that you have monthly recurring revenue that's just covering all of your things, right? Of course, we're going to grow that monthly recurring revenue. It gets to become magic. It gets to grow and grow and grow. But the first thing you need to do is just grow it to at least cover all of your expenses. Because once you do that, you're not in survival mode. I was in survival mode. When I needed to file for bankruptcy, I did not have any. I focused on paying fulls because that was the hot thing back then. Like, it was like, oh, paying full, paying full, blah, and that's what I focused on. And then the next month, you're like, oh, it's coming. And it wasn't until I started to focus and I said, you know what? And I had never heard anyone else talk about MRR. I was like, what did I do? Like when I was a corporate executive, it felt good knowing that I was getting paid on the 15th and the 30th. Felt really good. And I knew everything was taken care of. It felt good. I didn't have to question where it was coming from. And that's an energy where you're in lack constantly because you're like, oh my God. So I decided to move out of the lack frequency and focus on creating monthly recurring revenue so that it would definitely cover my masculine part. Like it would be the foundation, it would cover all of the needs, because once that happens, then I would enter into the frequency I call the magic money frequency. So, did you have any questions about that, Sam? Did you want to say anything, interject?
Yeah, I just wanted to like also link my story into that and remind people who don't know in 2017, where my real journey started, I left my life, my security, my income, my everything. I left my life living in Japan and moved to Phoenix in 2017. And I had $2,000 in two suitcases and I restarted my life. And so it was the same thing where I really was in a true scarcity. Like I didn't have anything else. And my credit cards ended up being maxed out, right? Like because I was just as I was building back up and going from that to, like taking $10,000 vacations. Like literally for Rachel's birthday yesterday, we had a $600 dinner that just the two of us. And it was like, I like food. So I spent a lot of money on food, but like, but it's fine. Like it was just, that's what I choose to spend my money on. And it was like going from, and we were talking about it over dinner. Like I remember being a kid or even in college where like $100 was a lot. I'm like $100 for a shirt or like a shoes or I'm like, no. If it hit like more than the single digit, like I was like, like I'm not gonna pay more than $10 for something. But so it was like $10 was good, $100 was a lot, $1,000 was like unheard of. And then now I'm at right. spend hundreds of dollars without even on dinner. And then, the thousands, like as long as basically, I mean, definitely 1,000, like I'll just, like, I can go shopping because I don't shop every day. I shop like once a year or like, I don't know. Sometimes I'll hit a store and I'll be like, oh, and I will just go crazy. Went to Vegas anyway. So the shopping in Vegas means that you can get close to 750, 1,000 pretty easily. But it's like, I can drop that and be like, okay, cool. Like acknowledge that that's there, but it's still not a big deal. Now I've got another zero and it's like, oh, the 10,000 for me is now that space. And so now I'm moving into the spot of letting 10,000 be my 1,000, where it's like, oh, 10,000, like whatever, here, take it. Like, I don't know, take my money. I want to go on a cruise. Like, and so, but coming from that space of real scarcity too, of like, I really did just have 2 grand that I ran away with in my bank account and my credit cards. And so it was like, I was like, let me get a job at anything. And let me tell you guys, I applied for Target. I didn't even get Target. Like I ended up working in it. Of course, divinely works out in my favor. And I didn't, right, really want Target. I had never worked retail before, but I needed money. Um, I ended up working with a local talent agency here in town instead of Target, which obviously was better and like way more aligned and whatever. But I didn't even get it at Target. Like Target told me no. It was not that I chose to work for the agency. And so just also me coming from that space and working through that with you, Christine, and being able to, obviously we didn't meet in 2017, but being able to grow into that and be able to like help me look at my numbers and go, oh no, like now I keep my banking app open on my phone so that anytime I bring up, the apps to swipe through, I'll check it and be like, ooh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I've just started now. I haven't told you this, but I just started. I have a tracker sheet. So I was using QuickBooks. I hate it. I didn't know where anything was. I not for me. I had done everything manually before, and then my accountant was like, "It'd be easier for me if you use QuickBooks." Well, anyway, too bad. So now I'm back to my manual spreadsheet. So every month or every couple weeks or whenever I feel like it, I'll go in and check like what have I spent and what has come into my business. And this month I was like, I've been on this kick of earning more this year than I have ever before. And like it's only January and February that I noticed that, but I was like, we're keeping this going. And so I was like, if this is my goal for March, I started putting in like phantom numbers. Like I put in where I know I'm getting paid from. And then I was like putting the amounts on the side of just like what would get me to that total. And I'm just kind of keeping up with it and filling it in as the payments actually come in. And I'm like, so I get to really track and see how close I am to getting to that number while things just flow in. And it's happening. And I'm like, I'm celebrating every time a payment comes in, especially if it's one that I didn't even have on my projected list. If it's a new one, I'm like, ooh, pop that guy in there. And then I'll adjust from these numbers I had projected. So I'm like, hey, beautiful. I'm really not going to get 500 from this because I just got 150 here. So this only needs to be 350 and I still get what like I'm still on track. And so it's just being really familiar with your numbers has been awesome for me.
It's so good. And I have a funny story. This is back when I was in corporate. So it wasn't even like I got like a whole raise or something. I was avoiding my numbers. I didn't want to look at it. This is like years. This is before I like was in the multi 6-figure range. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And so I had my spreadsheet, my little abundance tracker. I called it back then. This is how long I've been. I'm not new to this, y'all. I'm true to this. Um, and so I had the abundance tracker and I tracked the numbers and it looked like, because I like to go out a year, like till the end of the year. And so it looked like it was going to be negative. Like it looked negative. And I was just like, you know what? It's fine. It is what it is. And then I said, you know what? I know that I get to be supported and all the things. So I closed the tracker. And then it was about probably a couple of days later, I opened the tracker again. I did not change anything, did not change a calculation. I'm the queen of spreadsheets. I know what I'm doing. I opened it up and it was like I entered into another like stratosphere. Everything was positive. I called my sister. I was like, you remember this spreadsheet? I haven't changed a thing. And she was like, oh my goodness. I was like, what? And she's like, I don't know. I said, I manifested that. And it was like going forward, I just stayed with it and stayed paying attention to it. So I'm just saying, just start paying attention to your money. Because think about it. If money was your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Being ignored is even worse than being talked down to. Like being totally ignored is, that's why the silent treatment is so bad. Like, you don't want that, so pay attention to your money. And then what the next step is really for you to connect to unconditional safety. So when I said that, I went from bankruptcy to having a multi six-figure brand. Yes, that didn't happen overnight. I had to decide that I should feel safe without the money. And this is where the work is. So you've got to tap in to say, okay, I'm trusting that I get to be supported. And so I kept saying money expands to support my desires. Money expands to support my desires. And one of my main desires is what? For my needs to be taken care of. And now that I had the clear number of what I knew what it looked like for my needs to be taken care of, I decided that money got to expand to support that, even though I didn't know where it got to come from. And so in order to switch my brain to say, okay, I'm receiving money every day, I'm receiving money every day, I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm going to drive Uber. I'm going to deliver to Postmates, because those apps were available, and then you could pay yourself every single day. And so in my mind, it was like, I'm getting paid every day. It didn't matter where it came from. And so I started driving that, and it didn't take long for then my business to catch up. And what I did was I decided, I said, you know what? I'm not ashamed. I told the whole world that I was doing it. I did not hide the fact, like, and say, oh, I'm $1 million coach. And then was driving Uber. I didn't do that. I just was honest. And I said, y'all, I'm driving Uber because things are in the struggles. Right. And I said, but I know that money gets to support me, to, support my desires. And I know I've been placed on the earth to do this. And so as I was driving, I also said that I was going to let, Uber and Postmates or whatever be my ministry. So I decided that I got to uplift people's feelings and emotions and be me while driving this, and knowing that it got to change. Guys, this was not that long ago. I know I had written my book. And so my book was published, because the reason why I know that is because there was a lady who got into the car. She was very angry. I'm going to tell this story again on my podcast in a whole episode, but she was not feeling in a good mood. And she got into the car. And then while the time we got to the airport, she was feeling amazing. And she was like, what do you do? Because it's not driving Uber. And I was like, I am a coach and a mentor, and I have a book. And she was like, can I have that book? I want the book. I want to buy your book right now. Because she said I had the worst day. I just gotten broken up with. Like, she just had and she was so angry. And she said, and now I feel like I can conquer the world. And you didn't tell me one thing. She's like, it's just your energy. And she was like, just being here with you, like, has changed everything. And I was like, oh. And so she's in my audience till this day, but that's how I know this wasn't that long ago. And like maybe 4 years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago. So from there, I have now created a multi six-figure brand. And so don't feel like things can't change really quickly, but it really requires you to be the person who has the money first before the money arrives. And that means you're deciding that your needs get to be met, that you're deciding that you get to feel safe, and you're deciding that you're going to move and do the things that you get to do your part, and allow the magic to come. So the big thing that I love to talk about, and this is what we're talking about today, is magic money. And magic money comes into your life when you have your needs met. Like when you feel safe, when you finally like round into that safety, and when you know like you've created monthly recurring revenue, or you know that you have revenue coming in every month that is going to cover all of your needs, then the magic money shows up. Now, what is the magic money? The magic money is the feminine money. It is that feminine money that just flows in on top of all of the structure and the masculine money we talked about. It is when you know your energetic minimums and you're like, this is what I need, right? When you know that the masculine money is always going to surprise you, then you don't need physical money to feel safe anymore. You have unlocked this thing to feel free and passionate and wild and like boom. And so what are examples of magic money? It's like clients coming out of the blue, pay in fulls, your DMs are like on fire, you're getting unexpected bonuses, you get like rapid increases in audience, like recurring revenue just starts to go. And so have you ever wondered, like, I know you've seen this industry and you've seen even actors, actresses, like you see every industry. Think about it. Once that person gets to a point of like having success, what happens? More success and more success and more success and more success. And it's just a bomb that blows up. And it's because they feel safe, they feel confident in themselves, and they have proof that they're going to be taken care of. And that's why I love to call it the magic money. And you want to get into that magic money frequency, because when you are there, you remember, you know what? My desires, like everything that I desire. And if you're creating from a desire-based place, then guess what? The money multiplies and multiplies and multiplies and multiplies. And there was a time I had gotten into magic money. It was flowing. I was like, yes, God. Right. So I had a $60,000 month because I decided I was like, how did I say? Oh, I said, I sent out a message and it was on the like the Facebooks and everything. And I was like, I am calibrating to $50,000. And then I ended up having a $60,000 month, which was out of the blue because I don't think my month before that was anywhere near that. And I had I had my Tesla. I was living in a high rise. Like I was like living my best life. This is 2021, y'all. I had just moved into where I am now. And oh my goodness, it all of a sudden I started looking at what wasn't there. I forgot about magic money. I forgot about like who I truly was and how money got to come into my life really easily. And I had signed up for this coaching package that was huge, y'all. I mean, like every 2 weeks, I was like, oh, can I pay for it? Can I pay for it? That's the way I was feeling. And instead of expanding my desires more, because coaching was on my desire list when I was not paying for coaching, I forgot to expand my desire list and put whatever I had manifested on the needs, like to say, okay, at minimum, I get to have money that's going to cover the coaching. I forgot to do that. I was so worried about what happens if I don't have another big month like that. I was so looking at all the problems that did not exist and I created a new problem. I forgot all the things that I had learned that had brought the magic money in because I started to feel unsafe. And I decided that, oh, because I've gotten here and I've, increased my expenses, increased the things that are going out. Now, all of a sudden, everything that I knew wasn't right. And it wasn't until a few months of like this collapse that I was like, what do I know now? What do I truly know? And I was like, oh, I remember that first, money expands to support my desires. So what I am doing is I'm living from the need space instead of living from the desire space. Magic money comes when you live from your desire space. And so what I did was I recalculated the needs because it changed. The needs were now including coaching. It was including a whole bunch of other things that wasn't on my need list before. And then I expanded my desires beyond what I was doing now. And then I started living like the person who had the desires. Like I had lived like the person who had it. I decided that I got to be covered. And guess what? Like that, the frequency shifted and then the money started flowing again. And so when I tell you that this is gold, like you guys are getting gold. Like I go into detail for this in Magic Money, which is a part of Quantum Queen, my 12-month experience. But you could take what I'm teaching you here and totally shift your entire money vibration and start to see money coming into your life very, very easily. And when you remember that you're not a circumstantial individual, that's the reason why the money collapsed again, because I was living in the circumstances. I was like, oh my God, I just up-leveled my life. Oh my God, my expenses are so much. Oh my God, is it gonna cover it? Like that's where I was in the frequency, like where it is. I was living in the gap. Instead of seeing the bridge that was right next to me, I was looking at how far the mountain was away from me and the chasm or whatever that was in between it. Instead of looking at the bridge that was right left and I could have just walked across it. I was letting the circumstances totally change me. And what you get to do is remember to become uncircumstantial and know that everything that happens, that money is here to support your desires. Money expands to support your desires. And when you live from a desire-based space and say, this is what I get to do, I desire to be taken care of. I desire to have excess in my bank account. I desire to have savings. That's what I desire. That's what gets to happen. Point blank, period.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I've totally felt myself doing that too, where I'll fall into these spaces where I'm like, everything is clicking and everything is going so well. And everything is like, I'm like, things are coming from everywhere and like bonuses and like all kinds of stuff and growth on social media and like all of these things. And then this is where that subconscious, see, this is where my coaching comes in, because then I also, of course, leaning into a lot of these things, look at the fact that I think I got uncomfortable with things going so well. And so I, like sabotaged and like made them difficult or like overcomplicated things or like threw myself back into where I had been for so long, which was the scarcity place, because I didn't know how to exist in abundance, even though it was like this thing that I wanted and I talked about and then it was happening. It's like, but then I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. And so being able to recalibrate that is totally part of the process.
Yes, it's so important. And when you can, and the good thing is because you've done the work. I did the work. It doesn't take as long, right? Because you're like, okay, you know how people say it's not that when you grow and like, let's say $100,000 months or $2 million months, whatever. It's not the saying that you're not going to have problems, you're not going to have fear, you're not going to have scarcity pop up. It's just you know what to do with it a lot quicker because you've done the work. And so that's the only difference. Like, don't feel like, oh, I shouldn't have these fears anymore, or oh, I did wrong. No, it's just you being human. That's what happens. And so your power, this is your power, and take notes here. Your power is in neutrality, neutrality for the win. When you can look at money in a neutral space, when you don't apply a whole bunch of emotion to whether or not you have money, and when you can just say, you know what, it's here to support me, that's the way it gets to be. And you start to not um, put money up on a pedestal. When you knock that pedestal down and just say, you're here to support me and you're here to expand to support my desires, and just know that that is matter of fact, you will see how things shift and change so quickly because neutrality is truly for the win. I usually get into neutrality first, especially if you're in a struggle place and you're in a lack based place and it's just really hard right now. I got to neutrality when I was there from hope. And so I said, you know what? I hope this changes because that's a lot better than saying, what if it doesn't? Nope. It's like, well, what if it does? I really hope it does. I'm praying, I'm believing, and I love to call the universe God, sugar daddy, source. So I'm like, I know sugar daddy is here and it's supporting me and I'm open to receiving and I hope it changes, right? So I'll get to hope. And then once you get to hope, I'll say, you know what? I'm trusting. And what would it take for this to happen for me? I start asking what I call expansive questions. What would it take for money to flow in today? Kind of playing like you did with your list of like, ooh, this would be fun. This would be fun. What if I had, if you're looking like, what would it take for 7 clients to just jump into my X program today? And you're not like claiming that it's going to happen, but you're open to the magic. And I love to say quantum leaps are in the unknown and the unexpected and in your openness. Like, are you open to the unexpected or do you need to know how? And so I started to use these like expansive questions, like how much more joy could I feel? And what would it take for more clients to come in? And what would it take for that bill to be paid? And, started really tapping into the just being neutral, but allowing myself to dream, allowing myself to say, well, I'm open to it. And instead of looking for the answer, I let the answer come to me or through me. And I did my part, posting my things, showing up for my content, like creating the programs, marketing the programs. I did my part, but I also connected with that magical, spiritual guidance, that magic that gets to happen because I'm leaning, I don't want to say even leaning back, I'm just walking forward with open arms, open and ready to receive.
Totally. Yeah. I was asked once on a podcast, they asked, like how long does it take? Or like, kind of the end goal of like reaching this kind of enlightenment. And I said, what I have gotten very good at is shortening my recovery time. Like it isn't that it's even like a Olympian athlete. It isn't that they can't get injured. It's that they have now these incredible tools in place. They have the experience. They have so when they start to feel, they can recognize now, oh, they start to feel their muscle start to get a little bit agitated. They know they can stop, they can ice, or they can just stop and start lifting lower weight. Like they can catch it so much earlier that it looks like they're not getting injured, but the circumstances are still happening. They're just able to, they're so in tune because they've been injured and because they didn't catch it and because they were in this pain before. That's really what I feel like me and you and anybody that has quote unquote done the work, is that that's what's happening, is that I can just now feel the very start of I'm checked out. Like I am starting to avoid. And I can just get up, go outside for like 30 seconds. Like I just go outside, I feel the sun, I reset, I come back in and boom, I'm in work. Whereas before I would try to like push it and I'd push it and then I'd be on TikTok for hours, or I would be like definitely social media would get you doom scrolling or whatever, where you're just kind of numbing out, but you're sitting at the computer. So you're still doing work, but you're not doing anything because you can't focus. It's like all of that. And then you end up with the doom spiral internally of like, oh, I didn't get this done. And like, what did I even do all day? And blah, blah, blah. Whereas now it's not that I don't sometimes feel the need to stand up. I just allow it to happen because I'm like, great, I'll take 45 seconds and then actually be able to come back. And so just like the athlete, the recognition gets earlier and earlier and earlier. And if you do end up for some reason, step wrong and they do actually get hurt, they know again, they've got the trainers, they've got the cold plunge, they've got the resources and tools in place to go, okay, cool, I've hit crisis for whatever that means. That recovery will still be way shorter than somebody else that has never experienced this, because I've done this before. I know who exactly to go to. I know the protocol. Like all of that gets to happen. And this happened with someone else who injured their back. It was the second time he had done it, and the first time he was out for maybe at least 3 weeks, if not a month, before he could even stand up straight. Like he really hurt himself. He lifts really heavy, and the second time he was back standing straight in like 2 days. 2 or 3 days he was back up with his posture, and then by the end of the week he was able to really get back to where before it took him at least a month. And it was just his second time around because he had in place what he needed from that. And so I think that it's just important. I love that you brought that up. The neutrality is, it isn't that we, like just because I spent $600 on dinner doesn't mean that I don't think about money. It's just like I know now what to do with that, and I know how to get myself through it so that it just gets to be a thought and it doesn't turn into a major injury.
So good. Oh my God. I love those analogies. That was gold. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So there's one more thing I want to say before, like Sam, after that, if you want to bring up any questions that you think everyone would have. But one thing I wanted to end with, because I hadn't addressed wealth yet. And what I need for you to know is that wealth is a vibe. It's a no matter what vibe. Wealth means that you are walking with the duality, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, the tough, the easy. Like wealth means that even when times are rough, even when you feel like you should be wealthier, even if you get bad news, you know that you are wealth no matter what, because you are wealth. You get to choose that I'm walking wealth. And when I know that it doesn't matter if my bank account is overflowing or if it's negative, that I'm wealth, then guess what I get to attract? Things that align with being wealthy, things that align with being wealth. Wealth is unlimited because you are unlimited. Wealth is abundance, and it's something that gets to be a part of your life and a part of who you are no matter what. And that's where that unconditional, non-circumstantial living comes, because there are going to be times like right now, my business, I'm on fire. Like everything is like flowing. I feel like I'm like, lit up. I'm like, yeah. But there are going to be times that I feel like, well, I'm, either I'm scared, or maybe I'll get a nasty comment, or maybe, whatever. I get to know that that doesn't matter. Like I'm still wealth. I'm here no matter what. I'm taking the steps no matter what. I get to attract money, gets to support my desire, whether I'm happy or sad, or whether I'm, jumping on a trampoline or crying in a ball. Money does not care. Money is here to support your desires. And when you can separate money from like what you feel or what you think or what you know, and just remember that money is here and it's just here to support me, then guess what? You make it a lot easier for you to receive and manifest and multiply and compound and all of that stuff. I always ask the question when people are like, do I have to like be happy all the time in order to have money? I said, do you need to be a nice person to have money? And they're like, well, I want to be a nice person. Of course you do. No one would be in my world. No one would be a part of Sam's world if you didn't want to be a nice person. This is who we attract. And I want you to name on your hands like the number of people that have money that are not like great, maybe they're not so great. It's money doesn't care if you're a nice person. It doesn't care if you're, happy. It doesn't care. But you have decided that you've got to be perfect. You've got to be happy. You've got to be all aligned. You got to be all of this stuff before you can receive money. What if you just separated and said, I get to receive money regardless. Money supports me and my desires, and I get to be happy. I get to have fun. I get to do the things that I want. I get to love my life. I get to, do the work that's like I love. Yes. And you can receive all the money you want, even if this isn't right. Right? Because you are wealth. You are wealth no matter what. You are the vibration of wealth. You are wealth. Walking, you are wealth. You are wealth. You are wealth. And so if you take anything away, I want you to take that neutrality point. I want you to also take away that you are well. I want you to remember that money is here to expand, and it expands to support your desire. And I also want you to remember that monthly recurring revenue, especially if you have your own business and you're an entrepreneur, is like chef's kiss amazing. So focus on that. Make sure that it covers all of your minimum, like all of the needs. And then magic money is activated. It's like common, and it's just going to compound and keep getting more and more and more.
Yeah. Yay! Oh my gosh. Okay. So for me, the only thing I want to do is review the 4 questions, like just to like in summary almost. So the how to manifest more money, love it. So what I'm going to do is I'll read the question, then my recap of like what I took from it, and then I'd love if yours is different for yours, just in case, right, we're coming at it from different perspectives. And then people in the replay, I really would love the comments. Christine is in the group. We really will see them. So if you either have another question or a thought or an experience that relates to this and we'd love to see you and hear you and experience it with you. So the question, I want to know how to manifest more money. I feel like we totally hit that. For me, the end goal or the end takeaway was what you just mentioned, where it's like allow the masculine to come in, whether it be Uber, Postmates. Like it's okay for that first thing that you do. Like when I was willing to go to Target and I was willing to do all these other things because I was in that place of scarcity, true scarcity, which was where it's like, allow, you're not a failure. You're not going backwards. You're not doing anything except actually pulling the, string back on the arrow kind of deal to go ahead and just get a job. Like it's okay for that beginning part so that you can eat, so you can have ad spend, so that you can, whatever it is. And then like Christine mentioned, that's when all of the extra and the abundance, and that's when it flows, because energetically you've calmed down. Now, if you can energetically be open and stand in the space of without desperation, et cetera, without, having your needs taken care of, maybe you should call me and we'll do a class. Like, let me, like, let's figure out how to do that. Otherwise, you need to create safety so that you can allow the abundance that is around you, even when you're not in that safety, but for you to be able to receive it. So I want to know how to manifest more money. Make sure that your needs are taken care of, however that needs to happen. It's okay for it to be a quote unquote job. I understand all of the subconscious. That's where you work with me to get over the subconscious repercussions of that decision so that you can be taken care of, so that all of the ooey gooey goodness can come in externally, because it will. It will.
Ew, that was so good. I love that. And the only other thing I want to add is it's also going to be you looking at money from that neutral space, taking it off of a pedestal and making it mean anything about you, whether you have it or don't. So like if you put it on a pedestal and you're like, oh, because I have money, I'm this, I'm that. Or if you put it on a pedestal and you're like, because I don't have money, or because no one bought, because I'm this or that. So you want to just take it off the pedestal and make it not mean anything about you. It just means, hey, I get to receive more. I'm ready to receive more. It expands to support my desires. This is my list of my desires. Money, go to work. Like, this is your honey-do list. Like, do your thing. And I'm ready to receive, so no, when you know your numbers, when you're willing to get the other job or do whatever you need to do your part so that you can ease up your vibration and open it up to being willing and ready to receive instead of sitting in survival mode, feeling like you're unsafe. That's super important.
Totally, totally. And then, right, the gratitude within that job. So anyone that has a job that is doesn't want it anymore, there's totally validity and realness to that. And so shifting, being able to look at that job with, and I've encountered this before, people don't want to do that because then they feel like, right, with gratitude and with things that'll like make them stay in the job, but that's not what's happening. You're freeing up your energy. So the gratitude that you're having for this job because of the money it's bringing you, because of that you're taken care of, because of that's the actual focus. The focus isn't on, oh, I love this job. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the money coming in. That's predictable, that I am taken care of, that I can go to the grocery store, that I can buy gas. Like, thank you so much. That, as far as the people that are concerned, that if they shift their focus into the gratitude for the job, that's where it'll say you're shifting the focus into the gratitude for what you do have. The job just happened to be the thing that gave it to you. And then you can start to maintain this through other means because they're like, oh, got it. This is the focus. This is your little gratitude bubble. Let's fill it from all over the place, says the universe. So I do love that because there are some people that are in jobs they don't like, and that's, you don't have to like it. Like, that's okay. And it's okay to not like it. It's okay to not like something and still be grateful. It's like with family, right? You don't have to like them to love them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can love your family and not like them very much.
It's very true. Very true. I always say, if you read the book too, the aligned receiver, I say appreciation is the energy of receiving. And so it's not about like appreciation, gratitude does not keep you where you are. In fact, it manifests the thing that you desire so much faster. And so that's why you've got to be grateful for where you are. Like, even if it's $0, even if your bank account's negative, it doesn't matter. Be grateful for where you are and excited for the more that gets to come in. That's when you can live with that duality. You remember I said walking in duality of, well, maybe you're not where you want to be. Okay, whatever. Be grateful for where you are. And then guess what comes in so much quicker? The things that you desire.
Yes. And this is where coaching, y'all, this is where having a coach to help you recalibrate. Because when you're in the moment, right, it's hard. So whether it be Christine, whether it be me, whether it be somebody else that you see, whether it be a Tony Robbins event, I don't care. This is where you get to really sit and shift when you know that this is the intention. Is it's like, oh, got it. I'm not grateful because I'm so angry. Cool. Instead of being angry at yourself for being angry, maybe get a coach and will help you shift that. Okay. Then, second question, want to know how to keep more of your money and why everything just seems to disappear. For me, the recap on this and is going to be the subconscious comfortability with what you're receiving, and like kind of attuning your process of practicing. Because let me tell you, most people that have lots and lots of money know where their money is or where it's coming from. Like, they're very familiar with their money. And if they're not, because they have financial people, right? Financial people know what is going on with their money, and they at least, right, like, meet with them. So they're still involved in their money. And so people that are self-made, typically. So want to know how to keep more of your money is really lean into and look at your energy around it. How are you feeling when you get things? If you are feeling like, oh my gosh, I have to keep it, like, and you enter this desperation, like, grab, it's going to be like sand money. You'll be like, whoa, chill out. Like, I'm going to go over here. It's a lot. There's a lot happening. So sometimes it can be the subconscious energy of you're pushing it away so that you enter your state of comfortability.
100%. You're pushing it away. You've reached that glass ceiling, or that like, I'm used to this amount and this amount only feels safe, right? That's kind of where you are. And what you get to do is build your the amount that feels safe. I have a client, and what she was doing, like, because she was so used to being in survival mode, she started to receive a lot of money. So she was making the money, but she didn't know how to hold it. Making money, holding money, it's very different energies. And so I was great because I was like, okay, she learned how to make money. So that's great. She knows how to make it again so that she's not in desperation. So she's good there. But now let's show you how to hold it. And so what we did was we created some savings accounts. And this is just a tactical thing that you can do. So we created some savings accounts with some cool little names, and they were online savings accounts that she could just automatically transfer money to and leave it there without touching it. She also had a 10% account, which she just would put 10% of everything she received in there, vowing not to ever touch it, like just saying it's good to be there, and just learning how to be safe with that. And of course, it took all the work. We do my aligned soul alchemy process, all of that stuff, because she was like, eh. Like she was like, I needed. She just felt the itch of needing to get rid of it, because that was not where she was used to being, used to seeing money grow and grow and grow and grow. And now she's at a point where she's like, if she's like, of course I have savings, like of course money is there, because she taught herself and she expanded her nervous system capacity to feel safe with that. So I had her breathing while she was looking at the money, feeling safe with it, knowing that it got to sit there and nothing was going to happen. I mean, there's so many situations. There could be like a past life situation where you got attacked or killed or whatever because you had so much money, right? There's just so many different reasons this could happen. But when we moved, did this step, and then like worked through what she was feeling as the things came up, we intentionally made her sit with the money, look at the money, celebrate the money, see that she was safe, like show her brain, show her subconscious that, oh, it's actually safe for me to hold this. Then it became so much easier for her to build her savings while buying whatever she wants and doing the things. So money comes in, it goes out, and now she's very safe and comfortable with it. And so if you want to know how to hold more, like why it feels like it's going through your fingers and like doing that, I give you a test of like, do the subconscious work, do that work, and set up some savings accounts and start putting like $5-10 away, and just not like vow not to touch it. And then just really like give yourself time to just look at it and say, okay, I'm safe. I'm actually safe. My bills are also paid, and I have overflow, and overflow feels good. And then you'll start to condition yourself and condition your brain to know that it's safe to have that.
That's amazing. Yeah, because I find this so often when people are like, "Oh, I have raised my money, minimum because I'm making more." But the thing is if you're the kind of person that was taught to manage your money by at the end of the month or in the middle of the month or whatever, like moving everything out to hit zero in your account, like moving everything to pay off bills or to pay debt or to like moving it away, that is your energetic minimum is zero. That is what you're comfortable with. You're only comfortable when your account is at zero, because otherwise it means you haven't paid something, or like the money has to go somewhere. And so those are the kind of people that grow into their incomes. So you're at zero whether you make 1,000 a month or 10,000 a month or 100,000 a month, and that's when things just keep coming up. Is when you're comfortable with your account being zero, because it means that you've taken care of your things. So exactly like what Christina's saying is, this is where you start training yourself to keep some. And I realize, right, financially it's better to have your like money in an investment account. I get that. That's why we're not saying to keep hundreds of thousands of dollars in your checking account. But what I'm saying is start with exactly what Christina's saying, portioning off a little bit, or having a minimum, amount in your checking or your savings, like so that the money is there and you still get to pay things. But that's where you're actually gonna stop. If any sabotage is happening, that's a big place that you can stop it, is if you stop zeroing out your account all the time.
Yeah. So good.
Yay. Okay. So we're so close. So besides mindset, what can you do to increase wealth? We've said a bunch of things here with literally just that, looking at your money, checking if you're going to zero. Another thing is like being kind to your, like, your wallet, cleaning out your purse. Like Christine's got a whole wealth, like money manifestation course, among other things energetically online that you can look at. But to do is really going to be right, observing your comfortability around the identity with the money, all of that kind of internal work, as well as get a job. If you need the job to fulfill needs, then just get one. so that you can allow that relaxation, allow the weight to be shifted. I assure you again, it is not going backwards. It isn't, because let me tell you, if what you're doing right now is going forwards, how's that feel? Like, just get in there, do what you got to do so that you can do what you want to do. And that's also what that means, right? People use that quote from, I think Oprah said it. It was like, you can do, I get to do what I want to do because I'll do what others won't do. And sometimes that means getting a job, because there are others that won't do it because of their pride, because of their ego, because it's like they want to do XYZ. And so they won't get a job to support them. When if they had just done that, they would have been able to jump off forever ago. So just consider that. Last thing is Alex's earn more profits and work less. This is get like a whole nother thing, but real quick on that, how to earn more profits and work less. Um, what I would do to suggest that is take an energy audit at first, because I do know that you have a business, Alex, in this particular instance. So anyone that has a business that they're wanting to keep running, just working less, the first thing I would do is take an audit of what it is that you're doing and the time that you're spending. And is there any way to either outsource or automate it, just to give you back time without having to actually even do anything else? And then, of course, there's like memberships, or like there's things you can do in your business, technically, like masculinely, if you will, to make sure that you're making more, working less, like doing things that are done DIY, right? Do it yourself versus done with you or done for you kind of deals. But very first thing I would do is just take an audit and see if there's anything that you can outsource and or delegate, which would be outsourcing, or systemize, automate, just right off the bat, if there's anything that you're doing that is taking your time, because then you'll get time back real quick without it having to, so you'll be working less without having to actually do anything. And so
Yeah.
and then you integrate the rest of it.
No, I love that. I love that so much. I wanted to add one more point, and I want to say something about that too. One thing also that helped me expand my money was every time money went out or in, I celebrated. So I celebrated the inflow, I celebrated the outflow. And I kept saying every dollar that goes out comes back 3 times more. Every time I was, using my debit card, I'm like, yay. And I was just like, money supporting me. I started adding up all the ways money was supporting me, because a lot of times we don't look at the fact that you have a cell phone, you just ate food, you just, your light bills paid. Like I don't have any money. You do have money, because money is it's just around you. It's all the things that you've invested in. It's your electricity, your utilities, it's your bed, it's your thing. So one way to start to receive more and even hold more, or see that you're already making, like you already have a lot of money in your life, is start looking at all of the money that surrounds you, and it's in things that you have, that you've purchased and invested in, your clothes that you're wearing. It doesn't matter when you bought it, it was bought. It doesn't matter if it was a gift, it's something. And start celebrating each and everything. And every time money comes in and goes out, that is going to really like expedite your money and compound it. And then for this other question, what I see often when we say, how can I work less, right? How can I make more and work less? It's exactly what Sam said. And I had just had a call. I do this Woo and the Do business acceleration call. It's like $555 for like 45 to 75 minutes. And we talk about like exactly what is going on, because I'm a psychic as well. And so I can feel in their energy, like what's holding them back or what they need to do. And so with this client, she wanted to like really expedite her earnings. She was doing great, $15,000 months, and that was great. It was all one-to-one work, but she hated groups. And I was like, you hate groups? I was like, tell me more about that. And so she tells me about the groups and how it feels. And I said, does this have to do with groups that you were involved in? Did you feel like you didn't get what you needed? And she said, yes. And so we just started talking about this. And for her, I was like, and so with this one-to-one, you know that you work a ton, and you know that you don't have a lot of time for like family and all those things. You're just exhausted. And I was like, but is that truly the way? Because no one had come into the new program yet. And she was like, no. And I was like, so let's shift the way you're seeing a group, and then make it something that it works for you in a way that would be cool. And so we concocted this really cool way that no one else is doing group. where she could also include like her one-to-one in a specific way, and it won't feel like a group, but they'll still have the community aspect of a group. And she's like, oh my God. They enter immediately shifted her frequency, lessened her time. So instead of 16 hours a week, she probably was going to be spending, depending on how many people come into that program, 8 hours a month on that. And she totally freed up her time by looking at business in a different way. And so I want you to, like, you do the same things that Sam was saying, and also look at your business in a different way and say, okay, I want to make more doing less. What is something that I could do that is do once and then sell over and over again, maybe? Or is it maybe now I'm ready to go to, like, if you're in a coach or situation or something, one to many, or is there something that, like, if you have a physical business, it's like, would I want to franchise it? Those type of things. Like, there's always something that you'll be able to do. And you get to also energetically say, am I going to allow myself to work less? Because if you are conditioned, like Sam said, to work a lot, then you're going to sell, like she could sell all the things in this group program and then be working all night just because she's conditioned herself to work all night. So you also need to do that subconscious work, and you need to do the embodiment work, and you need to do the nervous system expansion work so that you can be sitting and doing nothing. Like, I had to challenge my sister. I was like, go sit in front of the TV, put the computer away, and I just want you to sit and just do nothing, just watch the TV. And it's really hard because then she's like, oh my God, because she's so used to, like, she's work. And I've been challenging myself to just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna sit here and be, and know that I don't have to do anything. But that takes also, like, the work, the subconscious work, the nervous system conditioning work, to realize that I don't have to work so hard. So there's a combination of things that you can do in order to multiply your money, compound it, and do all amazing things to receive a lot more money and work a lot less.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Christine, we're gonna have to, like, put this behind a paywall soon. Like, this was like really good stuff. This is amazing. Thank you so much for coming out and doing this. And I know that you guys didn't see because we deleted it, but we had such a fun morning figuring out how to do this. It was so good. And it's one of those things that, with the blessings of, this is what happens whenever someone's like, I'm uncomfortable to go live on Facebook. I'm like, don't worry about it. You can always delete it. I've never had to before. That's okay. Did we delete one this morning? We'll never know. But it was so I'll never delete and tell. Um, I'm so honored that you came on this. This has been so good. I'm so grateful for this value. And I literally, Christine, right? Because we've been talking about all kinds of stuff. I was like, I love, I don't know if you noticed, I was writing during that. I was like, I love doing this interview stuff in the group. I was like, this is so fun. You're my first one that I've done like this with in the group. And I'm like, oh, and so I'm like, make a pitch deck to get other people to, like, agree to come into my group, because this was so fun. There's my movement. There it is. See, y'all, get in with the movement coach, and it's like, I gotta move. Appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me in this wonderful group. Like, I could just feel the energy. You're such a loving, kind, like, caring person. You're a superstar. You're what did I say? You're the quadruple triple threat. Like, you are just so, like, it has been my honor to coach with you for the last year. And I want to know you to know that I see your growth. I see, like, where I just see the vision of where you're going and what gets to happen for you in your life, in your career. And I am just so excited. So thank you for inviting me. Thank you for trusting me with your beautiful audience. And just thank you.
Beautiful. I love it. So as far as for people reaching you, if anyone wants to drop just a quick comment, either like maybe like the emoji with the hand raise, right? Because we haven't done that yet. So there's an emoji with the hand raise. We can work out, DMing, like, figure out if there's like a free resource. That would be great. If you want to hop on this magical email list, if you're interested in coaching, like, whatever, we can just talk more about what that could look like. So if you are interested in learning more about Christine, popping into maybe getting the link for her, book on Amazon, whatever it is, just pop a little hand and we'll figure out what you need and what could best serve you, and we'll get you hooked up.
Yes, thank you so much. I love
Thank you.